asset.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the representative of the Inspector General of Police, in person of Deputy Commissioner of Police, Hajia Sarifat Olusokomi, will tell us, as a mother, as a forensic expert, how we should put all these things together and still remain as a wife in her home. Thank you. God bless you.
The Executive Secretary, Mr. Abraham, the eminent members on the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Then all your efforts would have been futility. You don't want that to happen. It is not likely that the defense lawyer, for instance, needs to know the details of DNA. It doesn't need to know your DNA, what is pairing with what. But if you fail to do the needful, like, okay, you want to convince the court that this DNA evidence that belongs to Mr. A, of course you want to support that with your statistical analysis. How do you do that? Because you know that you too have your DNA, so you want to convince the court that even in the lab, you'll be able to take cognizance of the fact that it could be my DNA because I'm working there, so I could have added my own. So we have what is called blank. You have to do blank sample, in which case you want to clear everywhere of DNA. Then you run it. And you want to have the DNA for the people working in the lab. So that just in case you have a mixture where you are expected to have a single profile, you want to query it. That even if a mistake had happened, you can explain to the court and they know that you know your owners very well. Somebody that has gone to the university to study law is not likely to go into that. How many districts you want to be a guru in? You are a lawyer, a barrister at law. You know the laws in this one brain, and you say, okay, I have knowledge of science too. You can't get to there. What you know, you are the expert. So let the analyst come and do that and put that in the lockup. But at the crime scene, what do we need to do? That's what my officers will take you through. And I tell you again and again, don't take them for granted. They are pretty much important. That's one way to that and jealously and consider. So that when we get our evidence to the courts, they will not be turned away. It will have integrity, it will be admissible, and it will be relevant to the delivery of that justice. Thank you very much. So give them attention. We are going to have this session, and I leave very time for you. And they are looking you capable and they want to take you through. But feel free, if you have any question at any time, let's have it. And it's a collective work, like they said earlier. Science is not a one-man show, and it's not something you want to hide. So if you encounter challenges, throw it up to your colleagues. Nobody else has monopoly or right. We share every day. And by the time you impact, that's when it's useful. Otherwise, when you carry down knowledge, where are you taking to the grave? You don't want that. And I'm particularly interested in people. I just fall in love with you. And I pray that the good Lord will guide you and that you are going to be great in this country. So, forensic discipline is one thing that you get to know. The awareness is just coming up. But I tell you, it's even going to be a lucrative business going forward. Thank you. So we want to put some of the principles there, more especially for this. This is what we do in our section, made by one of these our foreign sister agencies. So it's the same thing. Science is constant, very, very. Thank you very much, and enjoy the practical.
Thank you very much, Mama. Sorry, just quickly, do you not believe me when I told you we have on the high table? This is reality. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning once again.
Good morning.
It's a practical section, so we are not going to be talking much. As ambassadors, we know that the law enforcement agents cannot be everywhere at the same time. So it is some of this vacuum that you are out there to fill. So when a crime occurs, what are you supposed to do as an individual? One thing that we have noticed as investigators is that when a crime occurs, most of the time, the evidence that have been left behind by the perpetrator are destroyed through rescue efforts, through people that call themselves first responders. So things that will have aided justice are being destroyed through our efforts. So when a crime occurs, what are we supposed to do?
Those are the things that we want to expose us to. So what we are going to do is that we are going to demonstrate a mini crime scene. So how do you preserve the crime scene? What are the things that you're supposed to retrieve from the crime scene? How do you package your evidence? Those are the things that we want to talk about. So we are going to demonstrate a mini crime scene.
Hello everyone once again. So I'm asking you to please watch what they do. If you have questions, do ask them. Maybe after the demonstration. This is the first leg. We are going to have another one, right? So the second part, you will have to carry out some of these things they are going to teach now. So that's why it's good to follow and ask questions if you don't understand anything. The second part of the program, you are doing it, they are going to watch you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, we are trying to do a little demonstration. So, this is a crime scene. In the nutshell, a crime scene is a location or a place where a crime took place. That is a crime scene in a very simple definition. So, a crime has occurred here. Let's assume that a robbery took place here. So the perpetrator came here. Now, you came to the place first. What are you supposed to do first? Number one thing that you are supposed to do as first responder. Number one is the place safe for you to enter. You don't just say, okay, a crime has occurred, then you start rushing to the place. The place might be dangerous for you. The assailant might be there, still hiding somewhere, holding his gun. So number one thing, make sure that the place is safe for you. Number two thing, if there is any injured victim that is at the crime scene, life is very, very precious. It's very important. Make sure that you give assistance. The one you cannot do, although I don't know whether we have emergency line here, make sure you get the assistance of the medical people so that they can give the necessary assistance. Number three, the thing that you need to do is that you prevent the place from being contaminated. The guest speakers, they have said a lot of things. They said every contact leaves behind a trace. So the person that did this has left behind a lot of trace evidence. They are here now. And those are the things that will aid us to know the person that have perpetrated this thing. So how do you do? We use this. Look at this. We call it codoling. Codoling. C-O-R-D-O-N. Codoling. So this is the codoling thing. This one is for the Nigerian police. In a situation when you don't have codoling, you can improvise. What do you think you can use in the place of this? Yes. Anything that will just create a barrier from people getting to the scene. That's what we use as codon. Now, when you codon, depending on the size of the scene, sometimes it might be very large. After a while, you might need to reduce it by the time you have identified where the crime has taken place. So another thing that you need to do is that you need to create a path. Sorry, the way we did this one, we didn't create a path. There must be a path
where you can access the crime scene. Put another chair here. So there must be a part where you can access the crime scene. Now, there are things that you need to put into consideration before you create a part. It must be a part where it is not the same part where the criminal used in accessing the crime scene, so that you won't destroy the evidence. It must be a part or a place where you don't have a lot of evidence, so you don't go and contaminate. So that is very important. So you create a part. Another thing you need to do is that you need to create a control point where you're going to put your equipment. This is our equipment. Sometimes the equipment might be in a place that have been that you have chosen, and it must also be a place where you will not contaminate the crime scene. So, where is your control point? There is another thing that we'll do that is very important. You create a logbook. Every contact leaves a trace. Everybody that is coming into the scene, you must take the identity. This question used to come in. You say, okay, there was a particular scene that we went to. There was a massacre that took place in Owo, in Ondo State, at the St. Francis Xavier Church, no, where on a Sunday, some people just went into the church and they started shooting sporadically. They killed about 40 worshippers in that church. So, police, they move us, we went to the scene. We have cordon like this. After cordon, the politician came, NTA came, channel television, they were covering them. We were telling them, you cannot go into this crime scene. They say, it is now that this is your money when you're supposed to go and cordon this place. I was saying, do you have a fact? Because maybe our response was a bit slow. Because we have to move from Abuja to the place. But because of their influence as politicians and the security details following them, we couldn't stop them. But the ideal thing is that everybody going into the crime scene, you must put their details. Now, another thing that is very important, so that you are investigating, you won't end up and polluting that place, is that there's something we call personal protective equipment, PPE. PPE. Please, maybe you can demonstrate. These are gloves. You protect your hand. Part of that unique identifier that everybody has is our fingerprint. Anything you hold, you leave your impression behind. So you don't want to go and contaminate the scene. So you wear at least glove. Then there is another one. We have face mask. So you also put that on. We also have overall protective equipment. We have air gel. We have shoe covers. All those are our personal protective equipment. Those things are very important. Do you know that if we shed our hair to hair strand, and those are very important, vital DNA evidence. So we also use hair gel to cover our head. I think some of those equipment we didn't bring them, maybe because of the hurry. So another thing that is very important that we need to do is that we need to take proper documentation of the exact position of everything that has been. So you take photographs. You say, okay, I don't have a camera. Even in the situation when you don't have camera, you can improvise. You can use your phone. There was a particular crime scene that we went to, and the camera I was using was malfunctioning. I was trying to zoom in. I wanted to pick. It was a scene of murder. A doctor, a very brilliant doctor in Abuja here at James Village. A very brilliant doctor. He gained employment with the United States of America and he wanted to travel out. And the people he was abolished inside his own house. The same day he was supposed to leave the country. They killed him. They tied his hand to the back. They macheted him in case they killed the guy. Two of them, they pulled up their blood. So I don't know whether it was the perpetrator when he was doing the fingerprint with blood, put it on him. So I wanted to take the photograph. I don't know whether it's because of the illumination of the room. It was not really focusing. And somebody just brought a phone, one of the officers brought a phone, and the thing took the thing perfectly. I'm only trying to tell you that even this phone you are holding can serve. So after you have taken that, the initial photograph, then you see what they put here. This is what we call scene markers. Scene markers is for you to know where what is at a particular time. So after you have taken the three types of photography, we call one the long range, the medium, then we have the close range. You know, the one that gives you a general perspective of the whole scene, the one that brings you closer to the scene, then the close one as against each of the evidence. So this crime scene now, look at this. After you have taken the one from the far, the close one, you come close. After you place this scene, is to show you the exact position. Then you have a close camera photography of each of the evidences. So, after we have done that, what is the next thing that we are supposed to do? After you have done that, that will lead me to something that you need to do. What are the examples of forensic evidence commonly left behind at the scene? Example of forensic evidence. I don't know what is the time frame for this first practical. How many minutes do you have? So that we can know how to manage our time. Or we can just continue. Okay, so what are the type of forensic evidence? I want to put it to the class. Examples of forensic evidence that you can retrieve at a crime scene. Oh, thank you very much. Somebody said fingerprints. Oh, okay. Blood. Other one do you group blood? Thank you very much. You call it DNA evidence. Then what can you retrieve again? Okay, somebody say S strands. That also fall under DNA evidence. What again? Objects. Objects. Yeah, somebody said shoe marks or shoe impressions. That's another evidence. Somebody say objects. Objects that have been used in perpetrating the crime. It can be a gun. It can be a knife. You understand? It can be a pen. That scene that we told you about at Games Village. We later got that suspect, person that did that. But what I wanted to point out is that there are some things that we did neglect at that crime scene. We found out that they did a lot of smoking. You understand? So secret roots at the crime scene. You can also get saliva from it. You can get DNA evidence from it. You understand? There are some criminals. They like molesting their victims. So even semen. You understand? It's a DNA evidence. Any object, whether they wear a cap or anything, you can get sweat or DNA evidence from this thing. So all this. So I pointed that is a knife. Let's assume somebody was stabbed. Let me drop this here too. This is paper. Let me also give example of digital evidence. That one is very, very important. Very important. That one can tell you where you have been. There is a particular application, this Google on it. Everybody, before you use an Android phone now, or you use your Apple phone, you have to activate it using your email. That thing record everywhere. Once you activate or you put on your location, everywhere you have been, you tell you the number of cities you have been, the number of states you have been, the number of countries you have visited in the last 1 month. Everything is recorded there. Your communications. You know, this thing is so important that the person you are calling and the person that called you, once they lay hold on this thing, they can get all those information. Where you are calling from, the person you are calling, where the person has been, all those evidence are there. If you have banking transactions and other things, everything is in. That phone is loaded with a lot of evidences. So you identify all those forensic evidence. They are very, very important. This is also, we can say, document evidence. It's also there. It's also very important. So your work as an ambassador, where the security agents are not around, you can aid. You can help preserve this. You can help retrieve this. You can help package it. You understand? So all these things are very, very important. So the next thing we need to do, we have identified, we have marked, we have photographed. Another thing we used to do as crime scene investigators that we used to take a sketch. The purpose of all those things is for it helps us to reconstruct the scene. It helps us to reconstruct the scene. So the next thing that we need to do is now to start retrieving our evidence. We package it. We package this evidence. There are different packages for different items. Let me start with the digital evidence. Sorry, I'm supposed to wear a glove. Let me practice what I'm doing. Let me demonstrate what I'm preaching. So let me start with the digital evidence. This, I found this at the crime scene. This is not the only digital evidence. It can be a computer. It can be a CCTV. It can be an hard disk. It can even be a wristwatch. You understand? Flash drive, all those things contain digital evidence. Now, I'm using this as an example. I found this at the crime scene. What am I supposed to do? How do I package this? Number one, this thing that you are seeing can be remotely controlled. Somebody somewhere can have applications on this device that once anything happens, they can reset everything that is inside this place. They can call this device and it can affect the evidence that is inside. So the first thing that you do when you get this, number one, you are not supposed to switch it off. Leave it the way it is. What you can do, if you know how to take off the flight, put it in the flight mode, it's possible. There is also what they call this Faraday pouch. It doesn't allow transmission of frequencies, so you can place it inside it, you preserve it. So can we package this one? Although we don't have the pouch here. So let's assume that we put it in the flight mode if you have the capacity to do that. Or we make sure that it's not transmittable. What are the evidence that we can get here apart from digital evidence? We can also get DNA on this. DNA. When you place it here, that is sweat there. Fingerprints can also be on top of a phone. It's too big, but so we place it inside. Chain of custody sheet. Okay, so we place this inside. Before you do this, make sure the chain of custody. Now, who is the agency that is investigating the crime scene? Is very important. It's going to be there. The time, the date is going to be there. The location is going to be there. The type of crime that has taken place Now, which type of evidence are you picking? You state it here conveniently. Then another thing that you need to do is that the officers that retrieve it, you place it here. There's another column under the sheet that will tell you who is receiving this evidence for you. You are not the one that will fill that one. It's at the point when you are handing it over. Because most of this evidence, you are not the one that will perform the analysis on them. You take them to the lab. Like this one now, we have the digital forensic lab where they do analysis on all. So if you pick something like this, you place it inside. You make sure it is firm. It's not moving around. It's not rubbing against the back. Make sure it's not rubbing against the back. Then you seal it up. That's integrity. You seal it up. That is very important. So there is another one there. Let's assume swab stick. This bag is just a crime scene investigation bag. All equipment needed are always loaded inside this bag. So I want to take a DNA evidence from the crime scene. Let's assume this knife has been used to start. Demonstrate. This knife here has been used to stab somebody. So please move closer. Take a swab. So you take swabbing means you take a sample of the liquid. It can be blood. It can be other form of liquid. Maybe you help him. It's imaginary. You just assume that there is blood on the knife and around. So it's trying to take swab. Did you see this? So it's okay. You are just taking. Then you fix it back inside that. Now, please bring out the thing again. What does this look like? This one, what does it look like? It looks like cutting board. So, in case you don't have this, what can we improvise to do with this? Thank you very much. But you make sure that that thing is not. You make sure that you give a sample of that particular cutting board. You understand? Then another one that you use. People at the lab, they know what to do. Okay. You just remind me something now. If the sample is dry, there is what we call sterile water. You dip, you put like 1 or 2 drops on the cotton wool part of the swab stick to moisten it. Then to the swab. Then you package it, you label it like I explained. The type of evidence that you have taken, the person taking it, the time, the date, the location. You label it, you put it, and you seal it up. There are other type of evidence. Yes. Then the knife too, it has its own type of package. Now let's assume that this one is a document evidence. On a document evidence, that is, or paper evidence, there are so many forensic evidence that we can get from this. Yeah. Depending on the type of case. If it's a disputed issue, where they say, okay, the letter heading is my own, it's not my own, the handwriting is my own, it's not your own, the signature has been forged. You understand? So we can talk about handwriting or the prints of it. On this paper also, we can also find fingerprints. This paper also, we can also find fingerprints. I will not mention the name of the organization. One of the major security outfits in Nigeria. They invited us that we should come and do an investigation in the office of the topmost organ, that's the head of the organization. He put a vow. The PA put a vote inside his office. Inside that vote, they have hard currency inside. Inside the vote, they have local currency inside. So some of the head in the office, I don't know, the man left office already and he left the key on the vow. So somebody came technically. He took the 500 naira, 200 naira, did not touch them. He picked the $100. He picked the first bundle, picked one at the middle. He picked the other bundle, he picked the other one at the middle. So about 8 bundles that were there, he picked one. This one happened in December of last year, just before Christmas. He picked one. Now has enough money to buy chicken that evening. So the man was disturbed that in this type of organization, anybody working in this place must be trustworthy. It must be somebody that we must vouch for. So they invited us. We carry our bag. We got to the place. We took our photograph. We put our brush. We just for fingerprint. Then it occurred to me. I said, "Where is the bundle of the notes?" He said, "The person paid for me." So the notes up and down in each of the bundle we took 2 samples. That's not how you hold the bundle of notes. That you won't hold it like this. You want to remove it. So we picked the one up, the one down, the one up, the one down. So we took it to the lab, and we were able to expose on that currency as hard as it is to expose to develop fingerprint. We use some chemical methods. I don't know whether we will call it the Nigerian solution method. We dip those notes inside the Nigerian. We dried it, and it is developed, and you see the reaction with the amino on the print, and it came out very clear, and we were able to run an analysis. Although we didn't catch the suspect, it was the owner of the currency that we found his print all over. Because after the thing, it was counted for you to know that the thing has been stolen. So in the process to destroy the evidence, we couldn't catch the thing. It was his fingerprint that we found all over the thing. So I'm only telling you that on top of this, you can find fingerprint. There are methods for that. Your whole, I don't know if you want to go further. Your whole is for you to know how to package this. When you get something like this, and the finger and the seal, the package of this thing is sticker is like a file. Make sure the file has been labeled. That will be labeled because you don't want an indent writing on this. If I place something on top of this place and I'm writing it, yes, an impression will be left on this. So you make sure it has been labeled. You place it inside and you seal it up. Make sure it is properly labeled. I'm sorry, I think the person that packed the bag didn't put some of these things inside the bag. We'll have shown you all these things. Maybe by the next lecture, the next practical will make all those things available. On this, you can find fingerprints on this. The way we have packaged this, we package that too. See all the evidences, you pick everything, put them inside the envelope. Then, I don't know whether you want to add to this.
Good morning, class. Standing on the existing protocol. One thing I want to lay emphasis on is whenever we package any exhibit, integrity proof should be number 1 thing to work for. Integrity proof. Whatever you package can be changed before you get to the lab you are taking it to. Take note of that. The way you package the evidence you have matters a lot. Ensure that we should ensure that there is no damage of the evidence that you have packaged. What I'll be talking is how do we lift fingerprint at any crime scene? In a scene of crime, how do we lift fingerprint. Any crime scene observed or called to visit, there's no how a scene or a crime will be perpetrated without leaving an evidence. There is always a trace left behind, which can be your fingerprint or footprint or shoe print. Things we use when it comes to lifting of fingerprint. There are some prints that are left at crime scene that are not visible by the mere eye. Are we there? Some prints left at crime scene. Some cannot be seen with our physical eye. There are some chemicals that we use to lift those fingerprints. We call them fingerprint powders. Presently here we have the black powder. Second one, we have the white powder. I can remember when we went for a lecture, I think at Oyin Akoko Training School there, we forgot the powder to use. So we have to improvise. Thank God for the students over there. Our ladies that normally pancake face. One of them helped us with the face powder, the white one. Believe me and you, it works perfectly. He brought out exactly what we wanted. This is for the white powder, while this is the black powder. There are some prints that are left on the black surface. You cannot use black powder on them. It will not be visible if you do that. Otherwise, you wash off the print that you want to do. It's always advisable on the black surface we use the white powder. And when lifting such print, I'm sorry to say this, we could have come with I think a broken ties, so we can see how print can be lifted from them.
This is not the best method, but I just want to use it as an example. See the way I'm touching this paper. This is a white surface. This type of powder are we supposed to use? Oh, you people are excellent. Clap for yourself. You are all certified forensic professionals.
So this one now is called a magnetic powder. This is a magnetic brand.
There are other powders that are not magnetic. This one, I like using it. One, because this one, even
The waste, you can bring it up
into the container. You can pack it back. So I like using magnetic powder. Please help me to go. Remnants back.
Can we all see this? I believe with our near eyes we can see this. This is a print left behind after touching the object at the crime scene. You can pass it on so that we can all see it. You can see how clear it is without even using my magnetic lens. Pass it on. That is the usage of black powder on the white surface. The same thing is applicable when you have a black object. You use white powder. You will say what you are doing. So, with that, when lifted, there are ways to preserve it. If not, it can be contaminated as well. As you see it and you saw the print, you didn't lift immediately. Somebody or member of your colleague as a team that walk into the scene together with you can later go there accidentally deposit his own print also. In the process of you carrying out your analysis at the lab, you realize that the suspect you are looking for is one of your staff. So it now becomes an issue. It will now be a matter of deliberation. Do you believe that somebody is one of the people that carry out the operation, not knowing that accidentally, on getting to the crime scene, he deposited his fingerprint on the wall or on any of the objects there? We need to be very, very extra careful when we are entering to a crime scene. We secure ourselves, either the headgear, hand glove, anything. You have to be protected. Protect yourself so that you don't run yourself into the crime.
So, this is the magic thing. Nigerian police can work except if they are not.
When it comes to digital object, I think that will be feel I am. When it comes to digital object, there are a lot of evidences that you can extract from here. Millions of evidence you can extract from here. Much more on devices when you come across them at crime scene. Preservation first. What did I call it? Preservation first. Ensure whether the device you are picking is on or off. Majorly at any crime scene, is always, if not a purported sin, a planned sin. If a phone is found at any crime scene, it's always on now. Because unprepared for. Are you with me? When you find any phone at any crime scene, left on down, if possible, call your cameraman to come and do his job. If on down, he must take proper shot of what is happening at the screen, at the front page of the phone. When you take proper shot of that, don't off it. If you have your way, ensure that the SIM or the phone itself is well itemized out. The IMEI at the back. Look around it. There are a lot of features you can see on phone. Without you opening it, there are a lot of features you will see around that you can use to identify what you have found at the crime scene. At the back of the phone, the name will be written. There are some phones, they may likely not be that very phone you pick at crime scene, but they are only encompassed with the casing of another phone. Take note of that. Once the phone is on down, check the screen. Does it have network? If yes, identify immediately. Because as you are packaging that device, on the body of the envelope you are putting it, you are itemizing every activity you are able to identify on that device. This will prevent you from any utterances or alteration that might be done to your analysis when you get to the lab. After that, secure the phone yourself. Do what we call removal of the SIM. Don't off it. Remove the battery immediately. Remove the battery, secure it, don't let it run down. Use a polythene, a small polythene, to separate the contact of the battery and the contact of the phone. So that the phone will remain the way it is when you get it. By the time you power it on, it will not restart automatically. Exactly the way you pick it, that is how it will be when you power it on at the lab. What are the objects we find on the device? If being taken to the lab, we have contacts. We have SMS. We have WhatsApp chat. We have other social media chats that can be found on there. What are the evidences if the phone is not secured? A lot. If you are to trace what and what activities that has happened on the phone, who do you call last? Who call you last? With those things, you can trace what the phone is all about. The call record, we call it call log, is very important. There are some activities that may warrant us to do proper deep investigation into devices when it comes to phone. Majority of evidences, evidence when it comes to a crime scene, if you accidentally stumble on a device, I think your case is solved. Once you mistakenly at any crime scene see a phone, your problem is solved. Ask me why. The reason is this. The phone can be traced to whoever get that phone. Even if you cannot identify the user, there are ways and machines we use in the extraction of all the device, all the information on the phone. There's a machine we call Celebrate. I'm privileged to be one of the users in the office. We use that device. It's a machine that extracts information, data, pictures, videos from devices. Some seen may likely not be phone. You will come across. It can be flash drive. Some can be external drive. I mean, hard disk. All these evidences can be gotten from them. Every evidence, even if it is a single name you find on the phone, is very important because it will lead you to a particular something or to someone. Do you get me? Please, let's take note of this. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Put your hands together for. Yeah. Okay, that's
Ladies and gentlemen, can we appreciate Nigerian police? God bless you. Now, if you are the governor of a state, we are sending those distinguished personalities to go and do this coverage sum. What is the first thing they will take care of? Please, what will be the first thing they will take care of? We are sending 3 of them to go and analyze crime scene like this. What is the first thing? If I happen to be the head, I'm not talking of IG, maybe the president or governor of a state. What am I supposed to do for them? Their safety first. If they are going to plan on this thing, can we get this result? So this is it. Forensic is natural. There's no magic about it. In any crime scene, God in His own infinity mercy, He allows to trace. Because at that time, this criminal operating rather, they have the time. Additional 1 second, they are caught. Additional 1 minute. So whatever they drop on ground, they are going. Are we together? So that is the reason why all this evidence, they are easily gotten. And God makes it so that we know forensic is natural science. So we need questions so that those people will be happy with what they did. Okay? Can we take 2 from this side? So we need. Let me take permission from Mommy. How many questions, ma'am? As much as possible, because of time factor, we are taking 2 questions here. Okay, sir. 2 here, and 2 there. So let's do the secondary school since they are the next person that will have over the battle. You want to ask any question? Okay.
My name is Obunachi, and I'm from Government Girls Secondary School, Christian. And my question is, if in a crime scene, when you come there, the blood has already been wiped, is there a type of chemical you can use to, like they've wiped the blood already, that will clean up?
Distinguished colleague, will you write the question down for them so that they will take it simultaneously? In any crime scene, after the whole blood or saliva have dried, if do we have any technical solution, even though they called the name earlier? Good. All right. Professor, sorry, don't take this. You join us at the high table. Let's take care of our management, please.
My name is Abdullah Ibn Mohammed from Women Senior Secondary School. My question is this. Sometimes because the crime know that, the criminal know that if like somebody use a knife to stab somebody, they know that they will trace their fingerprints and they may use something like envelope and other things to protect themselves. How can we find out if that knife is the only thing that is there? How can we detect it? Thank you.
What he's saying is that, okay, this is okay. I want to collect all the questions so that we get to that as a criminal, you know one thing about crime, as the security are trying to counter, that's what we call the counter-insurgency or counter-intelligence. As they are doing that, they are taking a step ahead. In a situation whereby they use hand glove how are we, the forensic expert that this distinguished gentleman, perform this matter? I think the question is for the okay, thank you, sir. Now, you want to ask something? Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. Standing on the existing protocols. My name is Barrister Opara. I want to ask only 2 questions, even though it has a lot of elaboration. In many criminal matters are handed over to the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court, citing the notorious case of the state versus Akin. It's so obvious that in the proof of evidence, that is the charge, the police, the Nigerian police, don't always please the forensic investigation. And that is how we attack. And when you attack, yes, my question is this. I have 2 questions as I said. Why is the Nigerian police not thorough in their forensic investigation when it comes to cybercrime and robbery? That's number 1 question, please. Number 2 question. Why is the Nigerian police force in their charge or the proof of evidence not always, in fact at all, they don't plead along with the forensic investigation, that is the forensic report. There's no forensic report. Please along with the proof of evidence. That's my 2 questions. Thank you very much.
Sorry, let me just ask him, are you a lawyer? Forensically, I want to analyze, are you a lawyer? He's a lawyer, so there we go. Thank you.
My name is Marco Peter. My question goes like this. As you make mention of taking a picture of fingerprint of the wall during your analysis, we now know that you want to analyze that fingerprints based on the picture. I want to know how you will interpret that one. That's my question.
Sorry, when we come, we will take you to they have the section so that we can unite time and go on. Please, anybody on this room?
Okay, did not give a woman opportunity to
yeah,
ask questions.
In fact, I'm for woman self because woman that gave back to me, we have mother here. Yes, woman. Thank you, man. I love woman so much. Tell you who doesn't love woman here. Let me see your hand.
Thank you. From Education Secretariat. You have not shown us how to pick that paper and the crime scene.
That you did not show us how to pick the paper and the document of analysis from the crime scene.
Without your fingerprint on it.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Good morning, everybody. Standing on the existing protocol, my name is Abba Mohammed, Nigerian Corrections Service. What is the relation, the importance of taking blood samples of a deceased person, like you made mention, when the knife is found in the scene, you just take the sample of the blood. It is the blood of the deceased person. How does it relate to the investigation? It is already the blood of the deceased person, not the ingredients. What is the importance of that sample?
Good day, everyone. My name is Amada Samuel Eji. I'm from Government Secondary School, Kereshi. My question goes like this. In our country, Nigeria today, since there is no proper documentation for fingerprints, if you go to a crime scene and then you get the fingerprints of the person that committed the crime, how do you trace the fingerprints of the person? Maybe the person might travel to another location. So, how do you get to trace the fingerprint of the individual that committed the crime? I have the second question. Like, if you eventually pass and you view a crime scene and maybe the victim is dying and you decide to assist the person. And in the process of assisting the person now eventually dies with you and you are afraid of maybe the law might come and meet you there and you say you don't have committed the crime. So, and because of that fear, you run away. And then eventually you are caught and you are supposed to be the killer of the individual. So how do you, like, if you want to be generous, you want to help somebody else, it's not good to do. So how?
Hello, ma'am. If I enter here now, all the traces will be linked to me. So, gentlemen, have you asked a question? So, please, ladies and gentlemen, let them respond to this. The next section, we ask a question as much as we can. God bless you.
One lady more.
Okay, one lady. Mommy, she's right.
Hey,
Professor.
lady in front there.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members of the high table, we have a professor and our student that we are mentoring today. Hajia Awayagbe, put your hands together for her.
Thank you so very much for the privilege to ask my own question. Fellow classmates, this is Professor Hawaii Jesu. I'm a professor of criminology and gender studies from the State University. My question goes to our teacher about condoning the crime scene. He said we should try not to use the entrance where the criminal enter. And my question is, if the crime scene is a room and has one door, how do you avoid going in through the same entrance that the criminal used? I think there is a need to clarify on that. Then that's just the question for this particular segment. Thank you. I've been itching to ask the question. Thank you.
Beautiful. Hajia Professor, thank you so much for having me with us. Response, sir. They are up there. All of them are
Standing on the existing protocol of the law. My question, sir, you made mention that a phone, the first thing you do is to deactivate the phone by removing the battery. But most of these phones we use these days are inbuilt batteries. So, how do we manage it?
Very much, sir. Your response is, sir.
Are you entering the crime scene? That is Professor's question now.
So let me see whether I can send some of the questions, then I'll hand over to them and see so that they attend the others. The first question was, if the blood has been wiped, for instance, maybe at a crime scene that involved blood, and you think, oh, this blood has been wiped off by whatever means. The blood, or most of these evidences, is what can stay for a very long period if they are not tampered with. I haven't said that. Like for DNA analysis, you just need small quantity. Of course, that you need that minimum quantity, of course. That you reach that minimum quantity before you can run your sample. So you need actually small quantity. So even in that space where you think it's been wiped off, there may still be blood sample left there. And sometimes, like we have in fingerprints, you don't even see this evidence until you use some other means like alternate light source. So use your AL light when you shine on them. Some of this will come up and flow, like on a bed sheet, you might not see that the cement stain is there, but by the time you shine your ALS, you'll be able to identify that actually there is something there. And that colored evidence too, on like a bench spread, may not be a blood, may not be a sample of blood. It could be a chocolate mess that's been dropped there by a child or whatever. So your further analysis, your preliminary testing and confirmatory will give you an idea of actually what was there. So that blood may still be there. I will say that if you don't have the sample, there is a myriad of evidence at the crime scene. So you don't have to focus on a particular one that, oh, I must get this blood. No, you don't have to be desperate. There are many options you have. You are not interested in a particular person. You are working as a scientific officer and you want to use your third eye and your expertise to find out who was there at that particular moment. So if you can't make do with the blood, you have many other things you can make do with. So if you think the blood, for you to have known that it's been wiped away, maybe you see traces of it, you still want to get as much as possible swab at that spot, and then that can go ahead to sample to run your sample. Is that understood? Okay. So you want to, somebody asked what about if a criminal is smart? So we know you can get your fingerprints at crime scene and somebody is wearing gloves. They are smart, but a criminal can never be smarter than the person looking for him, except you don't do a thorough job. So, like I said earlier too, you don't want to leave your fingerprint. Your footprint is there. Like I said, it's just coming up. So with time, in advanced countries, all these shoe manufacturing companies, as they are rolling out their products, they have all these serial numbers that you can trace with because you have, so this will be an improvised database as it were. And what do we need to get your shoe prints? Just you can mix your plaster of Paris at a particular concentration of course. It's like our basic duties in the outside movement. It must not be too thick, it must not be too light either. You spread on it, you leave for a while, it gets dry. When you lift it, you see the pattern of your shoulder. And what we do in forensic world is comparison. So when you leave that print there, you now get suspects, you get live suspects taken, then you compare and you'll be able to see whether that person was actually there or not. So if you don't need to print, you have other things like every contact you need to trace. Even I'm talking to this mic now. If you need to swap it, you get my DNA there. Not only my DNA, probably a picture of all the DNA of anybody that's handled it today. So then the lawyer asked, why is the Nigerian police not thorough in the investigation of cybercrime? I tell you, there is no crime the Nigerian police is not committed to unravel. But like any profession, like you have in your profession too, there are challenges, there are shortcomings, and we can only work together, all of us, to make sure the right thing is done. But we do our best to make sure we unravel investigation-wise any criminal activity that could have been perpetrated in the society. But because it's a large society, it's like we don't feel us enough. So maybe with time, and we just get a little patient and appreciate of small, we know we do a lot. And that I can tell you what to do. So we are doing our best. So let's continue to work together. You saw some of the cases they mentioned yesterday. So nobody would have thought the police was there. But we do the work, but it's like the society doesn't embrace the police enough. But we need to continue to appreciate what we have. Well, because by the time you have the chance of comparing, you know you do a lot. Talking about law using forensic investigations, we do that. And some of these cases have been taken to court. But I tell you, they will not be enough. And we need to create more awareness, even in the law professions with the judges, so that they know it exists. And they want to inform forensics when all these things come up. So why don't act with forensic, okay, I already took that. How to interpret the fingerprint. Somebody asked how to interpret the fingerprint. That fingerprint that was found there, when it's taken to the analyst, talking about fingerprint analysts, they know what they look for. And so in that sample of prints you saw there are many things that may not be seen by the naked eye. But even with your naked eye, if you take a look at your fingers, when you get to look at it, you see some patterns there. You see sometimes some rolling going to one side on the right. We call it loop. You have some on the left. You have different pattern, wall pattern, and what have you. But aside from that, it's not those basic patterns we use. In that print, in that pattern, you see there are what we call physical structures that are there. And what are these physical structures? They are just basic characteristics that you can see. It could be a point. And what you find out, because you can have what is called a ridge ending, bifurcation, eye, what have you, just to name them because of the way they look. So what actually we employ is that at this finger, for instance, it's not likely that you have the ridge ending at a particular point here and you have it on the other side. So if it is so, that's how we do our comparison. So that fingerprint found at crime scene, of course, we need suspects to compare with. So when suspects come, we do take their prints and you compare, and you'll be able to ascertain whether those suspects you have were actually at the scene or not. That's how we analyze the prints. And those prints, so like I told you, we use contrasting powder to make them. Sometimes the prints are just obvious. You can see them like somebody has thought is a blood stain, for instance. But you now put your hand on the wall, it's so clear. So first of all, before you do anything, for the fingerprint, when you take your picture, perfect picture you can even analyze from the ground without lifting it if they are clear enough. But not to forget the fact that those prints at crime scene are not prints you put deliberately. We call them inadvertent prints. No criminal will know, like he said, that what if they put gloves. Even if you don't put gloves, you not deliberately, knowing fully that your prints might be linked to you. So you don't want to stay there. So it's what you do without doing. So sometimes it's not as clear as you have demonstrated, which I tell you, you encounter challenges. But when you get to the bridge, you cross it, and that's why the expertise come, and with your experience, you advance and you can interpret and know whether any suspect you have actually was at the crime scene. And you start to pick how to pick the paper is simple, except that with our gloves, you use twisters to lift them and you put them into the envelope and you package and you put all the necessary labeling there. Of course, we have different types of packaging envelopes. So it's not only these big ones. So depending on the size of what you are packaging, you put them appropriately and you package them. The swab that was put into, that's kind of ideal. Sometimes you don't have to put that in the swab. You want to leave for a while to dry and you put in your envelope. You can put some gold so that air can flow through to, so that you get it dry. Okay? And reduction or the knife. Somebody asked about the knife that was used in the commission. Okay. Somebody said, what's the essence of taking the blood from life, knowing fully well that blood probably belongs to the deceased? Okay. That blood you see there, you don't just assume this blood belongs to the deceased until you are found out. So your duty is just to take that blood appropriately and get to the lab. Right? Even if it will establish that that person was killed, establishing the fact that that blood stain on the body belongs to the deceased person to be an evidence, because somebody may be challenged, it's not that person that was killed. So if you need to ascertain that it was the deceased person, you want to get, you can compare with things that you use only in private, like toothbrush, like his panties, it has not been shared by anybody. So there can be a contestation of the father whether that blood was even the disease. So we'll be able to establish that. Then aside from that, that blood, by the time you run it, it could be a mixture. Mixture in the sense that you have the profile of not only one person, but two persons. So sometimes he's trying to injure the person. The victim and the perpetrator's blood can be there. So you come up with a mixture and you want to challenge it. Of course, you have your suspect, which you can compare with. Then no proper. There's no proper record of fingerprints. I tell you authoritatively, we do have record. From time immemorial, before somebody like me joined the police, we have what is called the Central Criminal Record, and that is domiciled as 4 CID Annex at Alagoon in Lagos, right? We don't have the digital database now, and we are working hard to make sure we have it. But Yoruba will say, I want to speak for another that before the advent of corn, before I used to eat something, and even in the Western world, it started with the manual. So even today, even in America, they still resort to manual they are doing. So the fact that we have technology today does not just in the past that we still we write our letters to our loved ones. It's not only because all this media something we have paid so much that the meaning is even lost along the line. I'm not saying technology is not good, we need it, but we have the manual database. I won't say database, it's just a documentation or record of what you have, so that if you need to check, at any time you can do that. So I tell you, we have that situated at Alagoon in Lagos. We are just trying to digitalize. And with the advent of the names, that is national identification, whatever, you have database now. So even immigration tools, that if you want to renew your passport now, you have to go through all those ones, checking your biometrics. So with time, we work together and synergize, and you can see that we check all this on when everything gets digitalized. But that does not mean we don't have it now, the manual record. I'm not lying to you that we don't have it digitalized now, but we're working towards that. And that's why when you are an applicant, you want to travel outside, people, they direct to us to check their background. And that's what we use. It's not a black. We check those records to ascertain whether you have had a criminal record or not. What's the last one? Print of the last person, I don't know. Point of venture. And I tell you, Mother, that I'm not with the chance to ask the question. So when we say do this, it's just that is the idea at any particular point in time. But it's not all situations that we have by this situation. So you face the reality and do the needful. So the essence, so if somebody asks us to do something at a crime scene, essentially we want to know why we are doing it. And he enumerated that when he was talking. The fact that you don't want to arbitrate, as it were, or remove the evidence, you don't want to trample on them, you don't want to contaminate the scene with your own evidence, as it were. That's the essence of that. So if you are there, you see the footsteps. So you want to see in the same entry and exit point. You can't break the wall. So you want to see how you want to probably, if you identify it, just avoid them and make sure you do something, you take them properly to make sure you get what you need. Generally, before this one is demonstrated, it depends on the size of the crime. If it were bigger than this, of course, the barrier will be extended, and sometimes you have like 2-3 layers, such that this is the main thing where the crime has been committed. So you want to condone it off. And you want to extend another bigger outside there, because sometimes people commit crime, and probably they just throw what they use in the committance of that crime somewhere. So it may be outside the fence, you now find that maybe gone or online that could have been used. So sometimes you extend a little beyond what where you think the crime would have been actually committed, so that you make sure you exhaust all avenues so that you don't lose evidence. So if you just want entry, you make do with what you have, but you make sure you don't contaminate the evidence and you don't get contaminated in the process. Before you start taking all these things, somebody that is experienced and a manager of crime scene, you have what is called a first walkthrough. Somebody that you know is dealing with women generally are meticulous. That does not mean man cannot do it. You take a walkthrough, and it's taking a walkthrough. That's when you notice probably you have pieces of evidence where, and that's what inform your marker. You now place this marker at various positions, and that's why evidence collector will now start to collect and label this evidence accordingly, pack them, guard chain of custody, and get them to the lab as soon as possible. Thank you.
Last question.
Okay, yes, we are still going to attend to the other ones. Please let us clap for the Deputy Commissioner of Police. Okay, the first question, it has been attended to perfectly, but I just want to add a scenario. The blood has been wiped up. They have even washed the place to make sure that there is no trace of blood there. There is a particular chemical that has been developed. I remember the name of the product. I'm not able to tell you the chemical substance now. It is called Blue Star. Blue Star. It has been washed up, but all you need to do is pick that thing, sprinkle it. Though it has been washed up, but the remnant of that blood is still there. Sprinkle that chemical on it, then dim it. Make sure the place is dark. Then shine light. That's the alternative light source. You see the thing will start to glow. To start to glow. So there is a chemical for that. Yes. Okay. So on the issue of the glove, it has been answered perfectly. There are lots of evidence. If your fingerprint is not detected, there are other evidence. Your hair strand can drop. Your shoe print, like Madam mentioned, the CCTV camera, when it's available, it can have captured you. The car that you use to come and go, somebody must have cited you. You understand? It is the cumulative of all this evidence that we put together. We don't deal with only one evidence. There are lots of evidence. On the issue of interpretation of fingerprints that have been photographed, there's something we call the automated fingerprint identification system. Yes, we have it in the police. So, like that photograph that we pick, you understand? There is a way we can load it into the system. You understand? And we can match it against suspects or existing database. And with that, we can come out with our identification. We can have a match with that. So, okay, somebody said the victim, in the process of rescue, the victim died. Rescue effort, the victim died. This type of scenario is a complex one. You are the only one that. That's what he said. You are rendering assistance or rescue, and the victim died.
If you are trying to rescue a victim, the person passed, that's kind of conflict. So probably it will be on you to prove to the court. We are not after anybody. We don't want to know who committed the crime. That's what we do in the science work. Is that evidence that is there that is linked to the person that committed it? And my lawyer will agree with me. Where's my lawyer there? We agree with me that no matter what evidence is presented, no matter how convincing it is, the judge has the final say. So all we need to do, all we are telling the court that so person's prints or whatever were found. So you explain to the court what you were doing there. You remember we mentioned at the start of it that if you want to access a crime scene and you are not authorized to get there, like in this type of this part of the world where people are not really fast or experienced in the forensic world. And the big guy comes and you think you want to enter, why are you disturbing me? You have access to this political evidence. There's no problem. Just make them enter before they get there. Sir, just fill in this form for me, your number, your phone, and the essence of it is to get you eliminated for me just in case you find your sample there. By the time they know the importance, they will say, no, do not me, I don't want to enter, nobody wants to enter. So if you are found there, you just convince the court that you are just helping the victim. It has nothing to do with you. And you should be able to do that with a good lawyer. Right? So the judge has the final say, and so whatever the judge has a lot of power in the administration of criminal justice. We just help them. We are fantastic, but we just make them. So whatever the judge gives her, we will do. That's it. Thank you. As Sunday, you are an expert in this, so I want you to address this. But actually, I want to keep it in. What we want to do, we are trying to get this into safety so that we don't compromise what is there. So if you cannot remove the battery, there is any other thing you want to do, put it in and just package and get it to the lab as soon as you can. And when it's there, the expert knows what to do immediately with it. And in this area of technology, even with or without battery, I think they should be able to extract some things from the system. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In fact, she deserves more than this. Let's give her a round. Big round of applause. Without wasting much of our time, I'll just add a little to his request. When it comes to a device in which the battery is inbuilt, there are several other ways you can get what you want from them without even removing the battery. There is something we call external usage. If there is a SIM inside, secure the SIM very well. Get a new device, put the SIM into it. Whatever that is on the SIM, make sure you extract it out. It will link down to a particular person, which is also a trace. Yes, sir.
Can I ask this question? What is the time frame for all these evidence that you have packaged to the laboratory? Is there any time frame?
There is time frame and there is no time frame. But you want to make it as soon as possible. And you want to guide the chain of custody. So you don't leave a scene of crime and you say, you know what, you may be hungry, we are human. And you now go to a restaurant to eat, for instance. You don't leave those right just carelessly anymore. It has to be your possession 24/7. So you are not, I'm not saying you should not use car. Are you getting me? But because you are eating, you don't just leave that package there and say you want to go and wash your hand. You see how difficult it is? So for me, I would rather get it to the place and save myself of the problem. Because those nitty-gritties are what the judge or the defense lawyer will use against you because, so you now went to so how are you sure that that thing was not changed and another one was put? You must be able to go to the court. And the earlier the better. So that the integrity of that evidence is not compromised. And that's what is called chain of custody. Chain of custody means, I pack this evidence. So when I pack, who do I transfer it to? Is it taking possession of it? Is it signing? You must acknowledge the fathers. And that applies to our normal life anyway. And that's what we call transparency and integrity. So as soon as possible, please get it to the lab. And you want to look at the mode of conveyance to all those ones you have to learn. All we are trying to do is to make sure that the integrity of our evidence is not compromised so that they are presentable in the record and are useful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Please, I want to remind my brother, take note of that chain of custody. It's very important.
Sorry, please, we have an man with your permission. We have an IPO in the house, and he said he wants to talk on the issue of a situation where you are giving a rescue effort and the victim died. That he has encountered something like that. I want to speak. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for giving me such an opportunity. My name is Juan Peter. Let Nigeria never be discouraged giving a helping hand to a victim. The Nigerian police are ready to help you out, even though you have been misquoted. In a such situation, if you are called upon or being questioned as a suspect, you work with your IPO. Your IPO will recommend that that person should be, that deceased person should be subjected for autopsy. It's a simple case, and the autopsy will determine. Because at that point, any person that died, there must be a cause of death. That autopsy, with the help of the pathologist, will be exonerated. So let us not have bad feeling that once we have a victim, police will include you as a suspect. So I have done such many of such cases, and people have been exonerated. Thank you.
I think that we may likely not have that time. Please, permit me. We may likely not have that time to take much questions.
I think we combine the first and the second practical lessons. So if at all we have only one to go. But I want to talk to the barrister that, like I said, we need to work together. You know, after doing a thorough investigation and after carrying out a good scene of crime management. Yes? So are you hearing me? So please, just sit and after that, before we take the evidence to court, we have to do a kind of mock court session. So most of these things we don't go through it, and you think it's so magical, you can get somebody sentenced in law. So that's the reason why I said we cannot overemphasize the importance of this topic. That is to create awareness, and that awareness has to be at every level. And that's why I kept saying that for this young that are growing, it's very, very interesting. I'm very happy they are here. Because when you teach children, they keep in with them and they apply it to the society. Even though they are not doing it right away, they know the importance, they know what to do, they can counsel, they can advise, and that goes a long way in shaping our society. So the defense lawyers, sometimes the defense lawyer asks for the case, you give them your reports, they go at this and they want to see how you tackle you and all this. So with time too, all the lawyers will have to be educated and forensic, so that they know what questions to put across when experts come with opinion in court. But I want to tell you that even individually, just let's encourage themselves to do the needful. I don't just wait for Nigerian police so that they do. I tell you again, you do a lot. You just need to work together to make sure we make this country greater than it is.
Put our hands together for the police. That's a very wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. The participant, I believe you have seen, you've heard, whatever actually transpired here. Acquired new skills, then expose you from theoretical to the practical aspect of forensics. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We are really amazed with this cross-fertilization of ideas from our mentors. This is forensic. In fact, I love forensic. I wish I started forensic some 20 years ago. maybe we would have invented something we will not be touching the ground again, scientifically. So let me kindly recognize Malam Alhaji Bello Kupa, the President, Association of Nigerian Congress of Principals of Secondary School, ANCOP. In fact, they have been sitting patiently as one of the principals. Despite that they get the shortest notice, they have been here with his student. In his entourage, we have Mr. Victor Orifa, PRO ANCOP, Principal GSS Bagalada. Please, can you stand up for recognition, please? Thank you. We equally have Mr. Okupe Samuel, National PRO. Mr. Ope Samuel, National PRO, Anchor, Principal GSS Wali. You are welcome again. Is there any school we have not recognized so far? Any principal we have not recognized? Thank you very much. Let me also recognize
Okay, to recognize Barrister Amin, former controller of correctional services, is here. You are recognized. Thank you. Thank you. Also, a representative of Education Secretariat, represented by Mrs. Young Teresa and others. Young Teresa, thank you very much for honoring our invitation. Thank you. Okay, the Deputy Commissioner, the Forensics, the question, ma'am, the question is, if a family wants an autopsy for the death of their member, in this case, the family calls for it now, who is the coroner in this case? And where will the results of this particular thing be tendered at the end of the exercise? Sorry, something.
My lawyer, I think it stays with the coroner, so they make inquest, so they know. And the police will make that inquest for anything that has to do with it, that's homicide things. There are some things we are not supposed to politicize that we do in this country. But I think there has been controversy about this, especially in Lagos, the western part, fighting over what should be the coroner inquest. But ideally, I think that should be at the purview of Nigeria, of the police. Because sometimes they find the anti-Nigerian in states and whatever. But whether it's giving the police or not, the police see as a stake in it, and I think it's what is it. But I tell you there's been controversy between violence. Let me allow the IPO to make some comments. He wants to talk.
Thank you. There are so many materials correcting that are hiding. No, thank God.
In such case, when there is controversy over autopsy, the family can make a request that let their person or deceased person be subjected for autopsy. Then the police will write to a particular place they choose. The pathologist team, they will now write to that person that on so day they want you to come. If the argument is for between the two families, the other family would equally procure their own choose pathologist who will now be there to witness. When they finish, if the case, the matter is still within the police station, which the file is still in the police custody, the result will be given to them to file But if the matter, as they are waiting for the result, it has been charged to court, the pathologist will come with it on the day you want to give evidence and submit it in the court. Thank you.
Yes, as I always said, Mommy, we really appreciate your kind gesture. You are really a mother in the Lord. And after mother of the Lord, what do we have again? We have physical mother. Sincerely speaking, she has been sitting for the past 4 or 5 hours. So she really deserves the accolade as a mother in the Lord as well as a mother here. I think, let me confirm from our most senior elder. Am I saying the right thing, sir? That this mama deserves to be our mother here. Thank you so much.
The Office of the Executive Secretary has to announce to you that there will be a break of 15 minutes. You will stand, stretch your legs, and come back. And then the powerhouse from somewhere will attend to you. Thank you very much. 15 minutes break. 15 minutes break.
We all know the level of security we have in the country. And the major thing we as a Nigerian will need to look into is how can we get a database? We cannot stand alone on Nipsey. I can beat my chest that some of us here may not know. We have 2 NIN, which is not meant to be. Yes. And some people have 2 different international passports, which is not meant to be. Carry different name, same picture. If there is proper harmonization, I think this will not happen. We still need that database. It's a very important thing. If we truly want to grow in this country, we need that database. It's one of the major things to checkmate ourselves. If a crime is being perpetrated and no trace left behind and no database, then there's a problem. How do we carry out security measures when there is nothing to match with? This will be taking us to what we call fingerprint. Fingerprint. There's no how a crime will be carried out in any scene without leaving a trace behind. Fingerprint. A scene, or let's assume this place is a bank. Access road into the bank is 1. There's no how the perpetrator will move through the same route to enter into that bank without leaving a trace. The angle alone on every door in every house, there are a lot of prints left behind or left on the surface of an object is always known as a print, which is called a line tent. The word latent, L-A-T-E-N-T, latent. Latent print, they are print left unknowingly. Fingerprint, just like my brother holding a phone, accidentally drop it down, somebody else print it. We will have multiple fingerprints on it. Unknowingly, he may not know that he left his print. Those prints left behind, we call them latent print. How do we lift prints in the crime scene? That's where we are going to now. How to lift fingerprint in a crime scene. The other time, someone also asked, how do we package that paper fingerprint that was lifted in the crime scene? I believe the mommy is here. God bless you. She saw us, she's trying to bring out the print that was captured at the scene of crime after using black powder. She was expecting us to package it. She wanted to see how to package it. When you see an exhibit in a crime scene and you didn't package, then there's a problem. Because you have nothing to show when you get to the lab. You must package what you have at every scene and push it direct to the lab immediately for proper chain of custody. If not well kept, it can be tampered with. Someone can have interest, move it, put another one. So that was why I was laying emphasis on the question one of our colleagues asked. Chain of custody is very important. If you didn't have proper chain of custody, our integrity proof is in doubt. That's just the truth. The exhibit I picked from scene of crime, myself, where am I taking it to? The lab. As I'm lifting it, DSP Sunday brought so item as an exhibit to a scene of crime, received by who? The receiver too will itemize his details under, sides, across the envelope. At what time? You time it and date it. Those are very important things we need to take note of. How to lift fingerprint at any scene of crime. I wish we have a broken ties so that we can use as an example. But nevertheless, we will still go back to the way we did it the other time. A plain sheet of paper. We make mention of 3 types of powders that we use in lifting fingerprints at the scene of crime. We talked about the white powder, we talked about the black powder, and the third one was the magnetic powder.
There are other powders like fluorescent powder, wet powder, and so on. There are many. But for the purpose, but it all depends on the surface at which they will be applied to arrive at the result that we're looking for. Generally, in policing, police does 4 things when they come to fingerprinting. Latin print that is hidden, that is not visible to the eyes, that we need powder to make it visible for it to be lifted using a lifting tape. Is another scenario. Then if we have a suspect physically that we so suspect, police will either take his print manually with the help of this our fingerprinting ink and slap on the card like this. Or if the person concerned is an applicant that probably wants to travel outside the country, police will take this application and then take his print. Or in other words, police, in the presence of electronic devices such as computer, we can use the computer to take his live fingerprint. All these are for the purpose of comparison set.
Thank you, sir. When it comes to crime, as police is concerned, I know many of us want to ask, how many types of crime do we have? Yes, if I may throw the question to the house, we all know what crime is. An act carried out. Is that not? That's crime. Then how many types of crimes do we have? I think we have 2. If you may ask me, we have when you talk about the type of crime cases, we have the single crime case, and we have the what? The criminal. The cyber own hide under
criminal.
hide under criminal.
Criminal, yes.
When she is talking about the cyber crime, it's hiding under criminal cases. So we have 2 types of cases. We have the civil case and we have the criminal case. Major emphasis will be laying on is the criminal. How do we bring them to book? I think that's what we are laying our emphasis on now, which leads us to what we call the crime scene. How do we pick their fingerprint at any scene of crime? We'll be making use of the same powder that we used the other time, magnetic powder. I will be of advice that we pick one person from each row so that they can testify to this, or they will carry it out. Since it's a practical session, we will want them to carry it out themselves to see how the print can be generated on how the print is left on the surface of this paper here. If we are to checkmate the ties here, we have a lot of latent print left behind. Millions uncountable. You cannot see with your naked eye. But with the use of some things, you can bring them out. There are provisions that you can make in the absence of powder, like this brush. You can improvise one. Like what these Ondo people did when I went to take them to college. Many of them also wished to carry out the experiment themselves. There was no brush. Some of them went to the extent of going for a stick they chew it like a like a joystick. The mouth, they turn it to brush. Unbelievable. And they were able to carry out the experiment, even though some of the prints were tampered with, but they still get something. But with this, we'll be picking one person from each row to testify to this while we lift a print from the surface of the object we place on the ground. From this row, please, can we have one person? Yes. Thank you. From this row, please. Yeah, just go forward. Yes. We have one. Can we have one person here? Then from the next row. So we're having 4 people. So 2 to 1, 2 to 1. We have 2 objects to work on. These 2 can come, please. Then the other 2, you can work on this. There are latent prints. Latent means unknown print, left behind or left on the surface of an object. That's what I mean by latent print. Unknowingly. It was left there unknowingly. So I want you to bring out the print on the surface of this paper. With the help of this magnetic powder, I'll be giving it to you. You trace it out and bring it up. Yes, I've done justice to that, yes. Why we watch them when they do this? While we watch from far, second team can move closer, please. That is a print taken from the scene of crime. There's print. That's what I think. All we want to do is to bring out the print. So we'll have to do something. That is the lancet left at the scene of crime. After the use of the magnetic powder, you can see how it surfaces out. While you are with your naked eye, I know you will likely say, there is no fingerprint on this, no traces. But some of us, when we get to scene of crime, you see something like this. You say, nothing was found there. It's only 2 pieces of paper. They are not ordinary pieces of paper. There are things behind. You may ask yourself, how do you know that there's something there? Yes. Someone is saying, how do we link this fingerprint to a particular person? There are ways to link this. If there are suspects you are suspecting, that must have at least carry out that operation. Go after them. Are you getting me? That is where we now move to cases. We are coming to, as at the time you are making your finding, it is still civil. Are we there? As at the time we are still making findings, it is still civil. That is voluntary fingerprint we take. There's something we call fingerprint ink. Here is the board. While here is the roller. The ink will be applied on the surface of the board while you use the roller to spread it. Gently. With this, we can use it. Fingerprint of those you suspected, though you have not confirmed they are criminal, or the people or the person that carry out the act. Willingly, they will sacrifice their print for you with the help of what we call suspect form. This is the form. On the form, we have what we call the 10 print and the 442. 10 print. The right hand is 5 finger, the left is the 5 finger. Then the down bottom part. We have the 4 right, we have the 4 left, and we have the 2 thumb at the center. We call it the 442. This is what we call suspect form. This is suspect form. For now, when you are talking about civil case, if you are to take any person on the issue of civil cases, voluntary sacrifice or submission of fingerprint, this is what we use. It's used for civil. Why this is used for criminal? In as much as suspect is involved, it must be led to a crime. So we use suspect form. How do we take suspect fingerprint on the form? That's where we're going to now. How to take their fingerprint. It's always advisable when you are taking, take note. You want to link the fingerprint lifted at the crime scene to a particular person. That's where we are now. We suspected that 5 people, you that the house was burned, you are suspecting 5 people. You don't need to call on them. You can invite the forensic people. They will interrogate them. So person said you suspected him as people that carried out the burglary in his house. After the burglary has taken place, don't go after the 5 of them. Willingly, they will sacrifice their fingerprint. He has nothing to do with them. Take their print, let them go back. Your investigation continues. The fingerprint you took at the scene of crime, you begin to do your analysis. What we call post-matching. People at the back, can you hear me? There's something we call cross-matching. You want to compare 2 different fingerprints. That's what we call cross-matching. The one you took at the scene and the one you took willingly. Compare and contrast. If there is any match, there's something we call a police identification parade. As you are checking, you are eliminating. Don't let me come into mathematics now. Yes. It's part of forensic. Yes, forensic is a broad tree which has many branches. Are you getting me now? So, something we call elimination method. If you search the first person among the 5, talk to the lab, you search, you realize it doesn't match what you have at the crime scene. Keep it aside. Pick the second one. Do the same thing to the second one. 3rd, 4th, then the 5th. If there is anything between any of those 5 to that very one, do your proper own work. Interrogate more. As at so time, where are you? You get information from the suspect to ascertain his genuinity, whether it's involved or not. That's how we do analysis. When even in investigation, we can't do more than this. What's come to us, they track with his phone number as at so period. Let's see the color. Who was he speaking with? As at that time, where was his geolocation? Are you getting me? The act was committed around 12 p.m. 12 noon. And you caught the person around 3 p.m. The person is suspected at so time. Where are you? If you deny and you make your finding, you realize that he is bringing to that scene. Believe me and you, he is a crime suspect. Even though you have not near him, keep him behind custody at the back of the counter. Continue your investigation till you get the facts. Once you can ascertain facts, Then you conclude on whatever you are investigating. So how do we take suspect fingerprint?
Let me clear light on at least three things. When we talk of fingerprint classification, we are talking about the minutiae. Generally, fingerprints are classified into three primary categorizations: the loop, the act, and the wood. So when you go deeper, one fingerprint differs from another one by virtue of the minutiae. There's what we call ridges, bifurcation, all these island and so on. So until when we use magnetic glass to check some of these prints we're talking about, then you will see some of these features I'm talking about, that they will manifest, they will show. You will know that one fingerprint differs from this because of it. It's not just by mere looking at it and concluding. This is what we call classification, and it's a big work. It's the main primary function. If you use EFIS tracker, it will graduate suspect fingerprint into percentages. If you have like 10 suspects, if you put it in EFIS tracker, you bring out the fingerprint, the machine will now decide to group it. This one will be 50%, this one will be 70, 80, and if it is 90%, you have higher degree of what? Accuracy. So you suspect that this person, his fingerprint is getting close. Then manually now, you can now begin to control. That's why I hold a ruler here. You know, this ruler is very, is it L shape? It's very, this cycle you're seeing here, that's a very big role playing when you are trying to take a photograph of a fingerprint, maybe on the wall surface. You know, we have a sticky ruler. Not all that, and then you can place it to magnet to the wall where the fingerprint will go before you take a photograph. Such that if somebody tampered with it, those that have these sizes, you know what is parabola, ellipsis, cycle, you know this is a cycle. By the time you expand it, it will not look what? Is it parabola or no? It's an ellipse, right? Those of us that do connect session, you know what I'm talking about. So that you maintain the originality. Then when we talk of database, police are making efforts are ongoing. It's not as if there's no database, there's not database. No. Two contractors have been contracted by Nigerian Police and the federal government. We have a Damalog that are building their own database of their own, which were contracted by Nigerian Police. The project is ongoing and it has not been completed. And we also have a NASA on the other one that was given a contract by the federal government. That project too is ongoing. So we are not at the managerial level to conclude. But I believe that as time goes on, the harmonization process will come to stay such that if a criminal perpetrates any act, as soon as we get his fingerprint, we log it into that database through the head of Nancy and other. Then there's what they hit and matching through all these minutiae. You know, the matching is not just being done ordinarily. It is done by the type of comparison. So that you know that, oh yes, this two fingerprint are look, one, yes, satisfied. It has a bifurcation here and here. It will, you know, there are ways they will mark, the machine will mark the core, the delta, and you know, those of you that are into when you ordinarily use your Google and log in, you see a lot of photographs, some classification, then you have a background knowledge. These are some of the things that happen at the background theoretically. I hope we are together.
Thank you very much. I know many of us must have been wondering, majorly our students, now what are these people talking about? Sometimes when you look at your palm or your fingers, you will be seeing some strange lines. Sometimes when we play ball or maybe you play table tennis, you injure your hand, maybe one of the hands swell up. As the time goes on, the thing now becomes pain. You realize that it looks like a paper or nylon. Then you are seeing some traces of lines. You'll be asking yourself, what is this? Those lines are not ordinary. There are names. We call them, though we have different patterns, as I said, 3 types of fingerprint we have. Those lines you are seeing, some of them, we locate them as ridges. All those lines you are seeing, ridges. You look at your hand very well. Check. There are lines there. I'm not sure if anybody may have salt in his hand. You can check very well. Check your hand. You may not see with your bare eyes, but when you use it to touch something, as clear the surface, you will realize that there are lines immediately drawn. Somebody will be asking now, how many put this when I was little? It has been there when you were born. And two people can never have the same fingerprint. It has never happened. Even at the that one, they don't have the same fingerprint. They carry different prints. So, as you forge ahead, let's assume this is a wall, and this fingerprint was left on this wall. How do we lift it? I'm bringing the question to the house now. Let's assume that this is wall of a building or wall of a house where crime was carried out. These prints were powdered out, were brushed out, as a lantern left behind at the crime scene. How do we lift it? So fingerprint left behind, lantern, which is this. How to lift it? Someone is raising hand at the back. Yes, you want to help us? How to lift fingerprint at the scene of crime? Lifting now. Yes, someone is raising hand there. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. He said, use your camera and do what? Snap. If truly the lantern is glaring or not, you will know. Take a shot of it. So that by the time someone begins to tell you a long story that you didn't understand, when you get to the lab, make them understand that I took a shot myself. Yes, there are some prints you lifted at the scene of crime. On getting to the lab you are taking them to, there are different things inside. It happens. Even in the set of the team sent to a scene of crime, you may likely have one person that may likely compromise it. That is why you have to be very smart and make sure you work as a team when it comes to scene of crime. Every fingerprint lifted, please take note, pack it well, integrity proof, and chain of custody. Those three things are very, very important. Because by the time you are giving your evidence in the court of law, once you didn't have proper evidence, I'm sorry, they will create to judgment. Then it will now begin, it will be like starting from scratch again. I pray our effort will not be wasted. No. So, we assume that this is the wall. We want to leave the print. In a room where there is no materials to use, there are local things you can use to lift print. In any scene of crime, you can improvise. I have one here, lifting tape. Please let me know the lifting tape. I'm assuming this is a wall. Please. I cut portion of the lifting tape out. With this, you can easily use it to lift. That is, watch it. This is white what? White tape. This is a white tape. We have the black one, we have the white one. Always observe. This is white. The background is what? Black. White. Take note. For the powder I use is what? You can lift black on white. Why you can lift white on black? When you lift black, place it on white. Do you get me? Don't lift black and place it on black. It will not be visible for analysts to see. Do you get me now? I use black powder on the white surface. I can use white tape to lift. It will be glaring physically. Assuming this is wall, normal wall, I will lift this easily. It's because it's paper. If I should put the tape, it will go directly. This is what I'm talking about. The wall is still there, but this is what I lifted from the wall. That's how it looks like. I'm only improvising for you to see. Are we there? Some of us are confused. I'm assuming that this is war. I use the powder and I lift it. The masking tape I used to pick is this. This is how it looks like when you pick it. The prints are clearing. This is what you pick and package neatly. When you pick it, make sure that position you pick it is tapped. If it is 1, tap 2, or 3. Identify the evidence you pick there as evidence 1. Then photographer will pick it before you package it to the envelope. As you are enveloping it, you are signing across the sealed pages. You sign across to protect your own image as well. Then write something on the bottom to ascertain what you have packaged. So that when we are identifying them in the lab, it will be easy. That is that. Then, how do we take the suspect fingerprint? Can 3 people please come out? Let's use one of the students. Thank you. We have 2 ways to take fingerprint. Normal thumb printing is also a way to take fingerprint. Why we always desist from taking fingerprint as thumbprint, as police is concerned, is because we will not be able to see the minutiae that we needed, that will help us in the analysis. That's why we desist from taking thumb printing. When you thumb print, you place on the form direct. It's wrong. We police, when we are doing our analysis and doing background check in the office, we prefer a roll print. The roll print, we call it end to end. From this end to the other end, you roll it. It will bring out all the minutiae on the finger, on that very finger. You'll be able to identify the type of fingerprint you have just taken. Either it's loop, either it's ash, or it's warm. You'll be able to identify them. That's what I'm talking about. So, how do we take it? We take fingerprint of the suspect by rolling your finger. This is how we roll. I want everyone to see it. We roll fingerprint from end, the tip of the nail to the next tip. From this tip to the other tip, we roll it end to end. You ensure that the suspect fingers are very soft. Tell him not to frozen his body. It should relax, no system, so that the fingerprint will be easy for you to roll. From one end, always tell the person you are taking his fingerprint not to push for you. Push the fingers yourself. Roll it gently from one end to the other end. Some people will say, this man just wasting my time, stealing my hand. No. There are things we want to pick up from the fingers.
That means the person taking the fingerprint is fully in control, not the suspect himself. He has to relax his mind, his fingers should be relaxed, so that he can control it freely. In a situation of lifting fingerprint on wall or surface, the concentration of the powder sometimes matters. So, by virtue of the concentration of the powder, you can lift more than once. In fact, in some situations, you have to lift a one particular fingerprint on the surface, maybe 3 times. And you discover that the one that you will take at the third time will be better than the first one for analysis purpose. So I'm speaking from practical and experience point of view. That you will now look at it that, oh, this one, the aim is too much, the second one may be moderate, while the last one may be faint somehow. But sometimes even the last one may be faint but to appear better, to help you to get the result.
Can we all see this? Please, can we all see this? The fingerprint has been taken. Assume this is a suspect fingerprint. If we are going to pass it around for people to see, when you roll fingerprint, all the necessary features you need in any fingerprint will be visible. That is if you roll the fingerprint. All the phalangeal line, the ridges, the latent, the delta, the core, the loop you want to see there, they are all showing. I know some of us will be saying, what is the meaning of all this? They are all features of fingerprints. At our own leisure time, we can make findings. Do your own research. We have several types of fingerprints. Each person has his own type. Please. Each type has its own managers and features. I'll pass this one so that everyone can see how fingerprint is taken. The suspect fingerprint. Thank you. Go through it, then pass it to the next. Allah, we take one more. That first form I showed was a suspect form, a criminal case. Suspect form in a criminal case. When it comes to civil case, voluntary fingerprint capturing, let's assume now that, okay, sensor want to happen. Let's say we are starting it now in the seconds. Everybody must submit their fingerprint. Willingly, you submitted your fingerprint. The forms are used. So the forms are different. It's not the same thing as that very one. Each form has their own name. We have the civil case form, we have the criminal case form. This one is the civil one. Like, let's say someone wants to travel out of this country willingly. You bring yourself to police. My fingerprint is needed at the embassy, that they want to know how my character is before they can give me maybe visa. The form they will use for you as a female, when you see red, that's why I said we have different types. The black and white of this type of form, we call this CRO21. This is 21B. The male form is the 21A. This is 21B, CR21B. This is B for the girls. The A type is for the male. This one is mainly for civil. If you are privileged to have this, you can use it. Take your print. Let police ascertain that you have no crime. You can present it before any embassy. It will be honored. This form I'm holding. They will honor it. If the Central Criminal Registry Commissioner of Police can put a signature on it and ascertain that you have no crime, you are good to go. Your visa will be issued with this form I'm holding. You may see it as an ordinary paper, but when it gets to embassies, they know the value of what I'm holding. So let's take note of all this. Our fingerprint is very, very paramount and is very, very vital. You have to be very careful. Where and where you deposit your fingerprint. For some of us that we are very careless, let me use that, I'm sorry to use that word. Some of us are very careless. We said something happened here. All those that we want to prognose and know what is happening, we enter. Is it this room? You draw the door again, we close it. Forgetting that it's a crime scene. You can imagine. I think when I was in Ogun State, all this police van was attacked by armed robbers. I was serving with Ogun State Command in Elewe, to be precise. So on getting to the scene, then I have the experts. I told them, come, police don't go into the scene. Order the place, since we are the first responder, so that we'll deceive other people that are still thinking little low to go on ground, to go away from them. But our police people that doesn't know anything. Even the AK that was left at the scene, some of our people just. You understand? This left a lot of innocent people into cases they didn't even know anything about. We have to be very, very extra careful where we are dropping our fingerprint. Those people that bring the fingerprint, a sick people here are fortunate to be part of the team that investigate the matter. How many of us know Kaladimawa roundabout? And this along the Kuguma houses. There are a set of policemen that were shot dead some years back. I was part of the team that investigate the matter. With, yes, 7 of them, God bless us. After the whole scenario, we realized that it was even a policeman that killed them. Till tomorrow, their clothes and the bullet shell is still in forensic data center there. After the whole scenario, because we realized that after killing them, they got away with their AKs. One of the AK was recovered. You know, one thing our people didn't know is there's no how a crime will be perpetrated without leaving a trace. There's always a trace to be left behind. They will leave a trace behind. Those people that were killed, those officers to be precise, that were killed, the armorer that gave them the AKs, the gun, he deposited the recording of each one. So person, AK 40 something, okay, 15 ammunition. So person, AK this, 20 ammunition. They deposited with serial number of each bullet. Only for them to realize that the same people that killed those people in Kaladimawa there went and perpetrated another evil somewhere. So they picked the shell, they realized that it's the same armorer that issued this bullet out. It was tracked down. Okay, who is the armorer? They went back to Apatua. There's a place we call Apatua. For some of us that know SARS very well. So, this bullet was tracked to your record. You were part of the people that were given this. Who and who do you give this to? Then from there, investigation don't begin. That don't tie up. So you realize that after the whole scenario is all in the name of. So we have to be very, very careful. Because those fingerprints that were left on it, they powder it well. We detect them one by one. All the suspects that were killed, their clothes were there, their blood and saliva was tracked for DNA. Those arrested at another scene took their fingerprints one by one. I don't know that my colleague that left the other time, is a very smart guy. I'm not working with him. He said, these people, I've forgotten that so people were killed. Why don't you check their fingerprint? Let's try and check. And we have what we call AFIS tracker in it. We just start scanning them into the system, plus matching with what was written from the AK. We realized that one or two was matched. Immediately you grab one, you will expose others. That's how analysis is forensic. If you didn't put it into study now, you're just wasting your time. Because life on its own is forensic. My brothers and sisters, there's nothing you want to do. As far as I'm concerned now, everything is forensic. That's just the plain truth. If you think you can operate easily or secretly in a bank and offer certain billions of money, without being known, they will do analysis, forensic analysis for you and bring you out. Forensically, we have different branches. So you just have to key yourself to a particular one and professionalize yourself in it. Forensic is a very broad tree. We can see this. Thank you, God bless you. This fingerprint has been taken. We can see it is a roll print. Maybe we should pass it across so that others too can see it. The first one hasn't lost in the movement. Still on. So see this one. This is well taken. 10 fingerprint and the 4 photo down. That's how we take the fingerprint. That's how we take fingerprints. So, fingerprints were taken. So, I will consider the one we lifted on the wall. How do we package it? I think I've talked about it. Proper change of custody. Any question? All right.
From the wall side, yes. Because you make use of the tape to lift it. You did not tell us how to package the tape. Are we going to put the tape inside the envelope like that, or we are putting back its own?
Thank you. Thank you for that question, please. I would not like to stain the wall. I would have want us to do a proper practical so that you see how to lift it on the wall. Yes. For some of us, I would like to ask, what of if the surface of the house or the place that the crime was carried out is wrong, is it not going to be difficult to lift a fingerprint? I was expecting questions. In such scenario, the best you can do, make sure you snap very well. Your photographer man is at work and it moves. Carry out proper shooting. Distance closer near to the nearer focal point. Capture. Then you cast. There's something we call casting. There are a lot of ways that we don't know that they are using. Do you see that cover that people normally, when you wear the exhaust of a bike, the cover, the water they normally throw off. It's a very useful material when you are casting a footprint. Yes. You can write me wrong. Note it down. That cover you are seeing, even if it is the stone one you see, grind it into powder and secure it for yourself. It will be used for 1 year. If you leave your house, on return, you realize that there are prints that you didn't really know about. Make findings and know who is always wearing such a canvas or a shoe. If this is my house, the rain stopped when I left the house. I know it was only my footprint. I'm expected to see the traces. Why the second one? That means somebody must have visited when you are away. And you want to ascertain who the hell the person is. Get that thing I mentioned. Grind it into powder. Small water, use it as a solution. Pour it on that surface where that foot shape is. Allow it to dry up. After some minutes, it will dry up, turn to stone. Carry it. What did I say? Carry it. When you lift it, it's not that heavy. Lift it. You will see particles of sand forming a shape. Look for blood neatly. Brush it out. You will see the shape of whoever is wearing that type of shoe. What you are after is who is wearing that type of shoe in the environment. That's what you are after. You are doing investigation. Your analysis can be linked to everywhere, in as much as your investigation is still going on. Accidentally, one day you come across such. Every shoe you put on, everyone put on, there is a print, a mark under it. The shoe I'm putting on has its own mark. When I match on a soft surface, there's a shape there. When you match, there's a shape. Everybody in a country where there's database, we can track each one. But Nigeria, we are getting there. NMC is at war. Immigration is at war. Even now, police is not at school. Yes, we are developing our own foreign. Because we are collecting data as many as possible. I was fortunate to be one of the members of the Amazon harmonization team and the digitalization of Central Criminal Registry in Alago up to 75% before we stopped. I led the team to digitalize the paperwork there. All the paper archives there were digitalized. All. So I can say, as time comes, very soon we have our own data in the country. It will be easier for us to track anybody. Thank you, sir. I would prefer to do so. But it will be difficult to lift a print from the rough surface. That's why I want sharp surface. So while waiting for the ties to come, someone asked a question. He said, are we going to package this the way it is when being lifted? No. I said something earlier. Integrity play. When you lift and you are packaged, secure it well. Show that you secure. Even if somebody took fire to remove what you have put inside and put another one, you know that you have done it. If open, you will know. Because you sign across the edges that you say. That's to show that you have secured the evidence of the exhibit you pick at the scene of crime, which you package yourself. It's very important. Always tag your evidence or exhibit with something. What I mean by tagging is that position you picked after proper photographing and documentation. As you are packaging into envelope, exhibit 1, a fingerprint lifted at so position. In the sketch, it will be seen there, and it is here depicted. Because the sketch will show you the picture of where the thing happened. Sketching. My colleague has spoken about that. Sketching is just a paragraph of the location, how things were positioned to identify them. So, in the sketch, you'll be able to ascertain that, oh, this thing was lifted from so position. Package it, address it, and then packaged by this at so time, dated this. When you get to lab, on the change of custody form, there are items listed there. You that your details will be written, and the person receiving at the lab, there's room for him to document the receiving. That's how it is. And whoever do the analysis, there's also room for him to document that. Analysis carried out by so person. That's how it is. You channel your report to your team leader. After your team leader go through it, then go ahead together. This is what we worked on. Thank you, sir. I think this is better. Yes, we have a proper object to work on now. Now we are assuming that this task is the wall of where the incident happened. Nobody can see me with our naked eye whether fingerprints were deposited or not. But with the help of the powder, you can see. What kind of surface is this? It's a black surface. Are we to use black powder? God bless you. Thank you. I think people are following. Yes. A round of applause for us. A round of applause for us. Thank you. We're using white powder on this. So the white powder will be of help. One or two people may want to see what I want to do. Please feel free. You can come closer.
It's okay.
Hello. Sorry, please. See one or two people. Just a bit like that, so that because you will explain the story to us. Thank you very much. This number is okay.
Just because they went to the surface of the tiles. Okay, thank you, sir. Can we see this? Just because they went to the surface of the tiles. Hello? Yeah. One house. Yes. Can we see this? I will have logged it in one house and see this. So, it's because the way the surface of the tiles is, the tiles is no longer that pure black. It's losing its fading its color already. So on using white powder on it, you will see that there are traces of fingerprint on the time. Is that all? Yes. It may not be physical like that, but you have to bring it closer to yourself. But it's shown just because we are under the law. You can see that 2 fingerprints deposited on the tile. It's so easy to lift when it comes to lifting. With this, you can use a tape, lifting tape. We call it lifting tape. We use a lifting tape to print this. Assuming the tile is black completely, it will be very obvious for everybody to see. With this lifting tape, since I use white powder, take note. I use white powder in bringing out the fingerprint. When you are lifting, what are you to use? Black lifting tape. Whatever you pick, you use the opposite of it. If I use a black powder, I will use a white lifting tape. That's how it is. With this, it's easy to lift. Let's assume I didn't have a black tape. This is the one I have. I will lose this neatly away from the paper covering it. Place it directly on the position of the fingerprint with your hand glove. Neatly. Trace the shape well on the tape. Then gently lift the tape out of it. Then place that tape in listen out. Easily, you will see the trace of the fingerprint. Easily. Which is what you are to package gently in an envelope, sealed well, sign across each edge of the envelope. Then assign your button of it. That's how it is. It's very easy. Do we all get this? Do we all get this? Any questions? Questions are welcome.
John, please.
My name is Gospel Baba. My question is this: are there instances when a suspect's fingerprint cannot show as a result of either sickness or maybe deliberately? Is it possible?
Scenario whereby a suspect fingerprint is taken and is not shown. There are other means of identification. The other time my colleague talked about what was called a face tracker. A scenario where you could not use a fingerprint. There are other evidences you can use. Check well, magnificent light. You will see other specimens which might lead to the area. But assuming now, we want to work with that fingerprint and it's not visible. Even if the person, what's it called? Fingerprints are off completely. I will advise take the handprint of the person. It's allowed. Even if the fingerprint are ripped off, take what? The handprint, yes. The reflex of your fingerprint is your palm. That's just it. And a lot of lines are written there, which are the flanger you refer to on your fingerprint. The same lines you are seeing there is what you see on your palm. Just that one might be wider than the other. That's just it. It's just the reflection of it. I didn't want to go deeper. But if I should go deeper, then I'm going off point. There are other facial recognition we use also. If I can't get your fingerprint, I will use your facial recognition. There's a scanner I use in the office. Just the only thing I need, just blink your eye into it. It will bring you your details. Yes, it's a German machine. Yes, sir. Question from our participant.
Having mentioned my name earlier, in my previous question, I don't think I need to mention my name. My question
is still predicated on this very lecture, practical lecture, so to say. I do think without considering that what we have done so far is being applied in the Nigerian Police Force or hierarchy vis-a-vis the stations, that is police stations and all that. I think there will be no crime in Nigeria. I can authoritatively say that. The reason being, let me cite the recent incident that happened last 2 weeks. A crime was actually perpetrated, committed. A security officer, even though he is not trained, was employed to guard a particular house. He colluded. In fact, he invited his guards. They came, robbed the place, took away a car belonging to my client. They made away with some valuable items. As they were going, they left Buhari. We know Buhari very well. They left Buhari. Maybe they were heading to Nasarawa or thereabout. On getting to Katampe Junction, the tire burst. This is a new Jeep. They just brought it from London for the man. It's a new brand Nissan Jeep. They tried to change the tire, they did not. They abandoned the vehicle. There is a cutlass inside the vehicle they used, and that vehicle we discovered that very cutlass belongs to that security man. Belongs to the security man. They left it inside the car. The laptops, the gold, and all that, they took it away. They abandoned the car. We now recover the vehicle. In fact, when they called me that the vehicle, they saw the vehicle along the road. I said, don't go close to that vehicle. Let us secure because of this forensic issue. They left the vehicle, invited the police from Buhari police station. That is the command, the police station that covered that coverage. They came. They did not employ what we just taught this morning. They just went, start the vehicle, moved the vehicle to the police station without any precautionary measure. Left them like that. Took the vehicle. 2 or 3 days, I came back. I came back from the lecture. I said, what have you done? What forensic measure have you taken? My brothers, I'm talking to you, nothing like forensic. At the divisional level, I can tell you authoritatively. Let me also cite an incident in the command. There is nothing like forensic. So, my question is this. What we have been taught this morning, are we being practical or verbal? Are we being practical? Because as I said earlier, as I asked earlier, in the proof of charge, in the proof of evidence, that is the charge. You know, the charge will contain what we call proof of evidence. They normally file before the court. There is nothing like forensic investigation report. You can go and confirm from Induction. That is the OC letter, FCT command. When they write report, there is nothing like fingerprint attached to the proof of evidence. So my question is, are we being practical? Are we being practical or verbal? Thank you. That's it. Let's take it one after the other. Okay. Yes, one of the IPO will take that question. You know, one of the things we are doing now, awareness. I know the question is asked. He can respond to the question himself. He just want the house to learn from it. Are you getting me? We are not being verbal. I practicalize everything I do. Ask people that know something very well. Ask them, when it comes to analysis of any crime scene, and they come across phone, laptop, anything device, as far as Abuja is concerned, ask for something. No division you enter. If it doesn't come to my table, then police is not aware of it. Except they pocket it within themselves. There are a lot of cases happening. As it's happening, they kill it there. You will not even know such cases is happening. It's only when you now begin to hear from the lawyer talking, you now be wondering, when did this one happen? The word, are we being baba or practical? That's what I'm trying to bring up. Police, if they want to do the job, they do it. That's just it.
That's what we're saying. You know they do.
Thank you. Let me add to what I just said. Police are there to do their duty, and the purpose of this seminar is to create awareness, because this forensic has not gotten to the divisional level and the small divisions, and that is why some people on their own make this thing to take place. So we have to appreciate their efforts. The lawyers who have been in existence have never thought of bringing such. Now the police are now helped to enlighten people. You are here discouraging that police never do this and do that. And we are not here to do that. So we are here to lecture people on things they're supposed to do, and so that they will work with police with free mind and give them information, and police will do their own adequate investigation and exonerate whoever is innocent. So let us not take everything that police must do everything. As you are there, you can bring it and work with the IPO. IPO, there is need. We place this investigation into forensic so that we can get accurate investigation. Not playing attempts. Thank you.
In addition to that, sorry sir. In addition to that, yes, we are coming there, please. We know police, they work in hierarchy. I start to be corrected. Like, I think I have an issue somehow, within the divisional level. If somebody have a particular client, want that to die at that level, it will die and be buried. And how will you expect somebody from the city? My Lord, maybe at that time that particular thing happened. If you probably have the forensic knowledge, I believe you want to go to the headquarters. Thank you so much. We are ready.
Let me put you in the clear way of forensic. Actually, with this kind of complaint going on currently, the forensic office through CP Forensic designed a death contact. I think the forensic department has given 2 contacts since last year or so. So that if there is such kind of emergency, you contact the contact person directly. Forget about IPO or anything. Just call the CP Forensic through that death contact. They will attend to you. You go there directly and they conduct forensic examination so that they can now tender it to the IPO to go on, because the IPO may not have the required knowledge. You cannot give what you don't have. So that is the essence of this contract. Maybe we have a lot of fire there with the 2 contacts. You can reach him at any time. The CP will contact the CP will give go ahead. Where they stand by vehicle. I think about 3 of them. One in the first contact, one in the first hearing, and one in the command. They will rush to the scene, conduct all the necessary things, define it, so that the IPO will now take up any other opinion or court case may go alongside with it. I think that's the best procedure we need to follow. Because if you go to division, they don't know what to do. They just go there and they scatter everywhere. Waiting in the game gone, when they come last, when they see it, they will not want
My question is this question. In terms of forensic ballistics, can a caliber of ammunition used on the victim be determined, or only an ammunition used on a victim? That is, we have different types of calibers of ammunition used in rifles. Can the caliber be determined so that it will be traced to the perpetrator? Then, secondly, sir, this is just like an advice. With the existence of BBN in Nigeria, can't we make something to have a harmonized database?
It's a big question. I like that. When it comes to database, my memory always ginger, my system always goes fast. I'm into IT. Database, the major watchword, as we are concerned now, is that database. The major watchword as we are concerned now is what? That database, which is what NIMC people are doing presently. If not that renovations or renovation that is going on, that will on one server off one server. They won't be able to track up any VPN from their end. I think they are coming up to some extent. NIN, BVN, I think that's what we call a bank. Without those two, bank doesn't work. When you enter a bank today, if BVN is down, they will work on NIN. If NIN is down, BVN must be down. That's what we call bank. And when you are dropping these two information, be very careful. Your email and your phone number. Know where you drop them. Information is key. Please take note. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I was listening and trying to comprehend. You see, the Nigerian police force must begin to accept claims when these claims are passed. The claims are not passed for you who is here with us, but passed for your superiors. How many divisional police stations have forensic experts or knowledge at all? You understand? When you get knowledge is not supposed to be, I know it, nobody else should know it. But that is exactly what is happening. How many police officers are trained? How many IPOs know forensic evidence? You understand? So, what we are clamoring for, we as forensic experts, I started hearing the name for us. What we are asking you is that leverage on stakeholders who know these things, who train the trainee seminars and workshops. It's not just you, you are a forensic expert. Your being here is not as good as having other police officers sit down here like you, who will listen and learn from you and other people who are experts. That way, when they take a case, we have seen police officers go into crime scenes. Me, I'm just a criminologist, but I will never enter a crime scene without looking left and right. And you see police officers, big physical evidence with their hands, without gloves. We appreciate the fact that you people don't have anything. And that's why we say when we are insulting police officers, it's not you. The people who went abroad for training and became forensic experts in the Nigerian police, where are they? Why are they holding that knowledge? Do you understand? Very well. So that's our argument. So help me God.
Thank you, ma'am. God bless you, ma'am. please, without wasting much of our, you're already expecting us. But please, I want to make this statement. Okay. Hello. Thank you. Hello.
Distinguished doctor, sorry. One thing I want you to know before our senior colleague came on board, Nigerian police, be that as it may, how many of them are ready to go this far as they are? How many of them have gone beyond secondary school? How many of them even have secondary school certificates? And that is why they are very few. Honestly.
I like that word you just said now. I joined this job. I think this should be my fourth job I'm doing. I joined police first with my master's degree. I'm a better by far candidate. University of Ilorin, I studied mathematics. I did analysis, numerical analysis in my master's University of Ilorin in 2014, which is when I joined the job. I joined the job with my master. Forget about that word, Nigerian police. Do what you know best and make this country change. It's not everything that I see mouth with tongue. Let's give it to us.
In addition, sometimes forensic problems are not only lying at the power of the Nigerian. Nigerian police is very powerful, quite okay. Our new police power, if police exercise the power to the maximum, I think the society will be free. But in some cases, you will discover that I have to be frank to you, so that you know that sometimes the government have in police limitation. So we should not add that to. Why is police not doing this? Why is the government not doing this? Because sometimes, if you are into police forensic proper, and you know the direction of the power of the Nigerian police, sometimes you can topple the government. I know what I'm saying. That's why sometimes you see some of our officers were threatened, arrested, suspended, detained, dismissed on the basis of all this forensic evidence. So you see, the security is not there in both sides. So we should not rely on police. Why are they not exercising the power? The power, the bullet is there, but the environment is not comfortable. You will make it comfortable so that the child can work. Thank you.
Okay. Please, I would like to make 2 comments. My learned friend, thank you for 2 questions you put to us. The first one is this. We have what we call litigation forensics. I don't know, have you heard of that? Okay, good. We try some sand in the forensics investigation. So, thank God we are coming on board. There are a lot of cases we will actually explain to you that you will learn. You understand? So you have a lot to learn in the forensics field. So keep calm. Don't be in a rush to blame the Nigerian police. Having said that, I'm a forensic expert for so many years. I have trained generals in the Nigerian Army, DC, in the police, and so many paramilitary organizations. There's what we call the training factor problem in all the armed forces, including other paramilitary organizations, not only in the Nigerian police. Look, this training that this organization is organizing, we are doing it at a very cheap, in fact, cheapest. I sitting here, I paid $700,000 to be inducted as the president of the Chartered Institute of Forensics and Fraud Investigators of Nigeria. The bill was signed into law 2022 by the president. By extension, the daughter is also a member of the council. We were actually inducted at the EFCC Academy, but before then, I am a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investigative Professionals of Nigeria. I'm also a fellow of the Fraud Examiners of Canada. I'm also a fellow of International Academy of Forensics. In fact, I don't want to go into many. You understand? So, blaming the police is wrong. Reason is this. Some of the police officers, like the IPO that is talking there, is not even giving money from the police post to come for this course. It is actually out of his own struggles and also the kind of need for knowledge that makes him to come here. You understand? So if we are talking about forensic investigation in the police, actually we have to encourage them. And by the second point, if you look at the theme of this seminar, forensic science and application awareness, which means we want the general public, including the general police, to have awareness of the forensic investigation. So we should take note of that, and also to prove to you that a forensic expert is talking to you. We have two types of investigation. Although there's a book that many of the students here will have the book. I wrote the book. It's called Investigation, that is Intelligence and Investigation. In that book, you will know there's a difference between investigation and forensic investigation. When you're talking about ordinary investigation, we say an IPO or a prosecutor can prove a case beyond any reasonable doubt. Underline reasonable doubt. Whereas in forensics, we say you prove a case beyond doubt. You understand? So the car you saw by the roadside, assuming a forensic expert is to go there, the points you have actually noted, going into the car in the first place wouldn't have been even the issue. The car would have been controlled just the way it was demonstrated here. You understand? To harvest the relevant evidences. Because going into the car for them to drive, in forensics, we call it termination of evidence. The evidence is contaminated. Is that okay? So there's a difference between forensic investigation and ordinary investigation. So the police officers that came from Buhari, that is the jurisdiction of where the crime actually happened, they were just taking ordinary investigation processes, not forensic investigation. So you don't say they don't jump in. One, their level of understanding is not even forensically oriented. You understand? So the Nigerian police with this, they will actually encourage the officers to learn more forensically in terms of investigation and also getting the relevant evidence when it comes to prosecution. Is that okay? Thank you.
We thank God for, in fact, Professor Howard, I think we dealt with you yesterday. And you have become a better person. Most of you abandoned her, and you are not supposed to be dealing with her. So, my brother, continue what you are doing. Let me tell you, this is our job. If they don't want to help us, we will help ourselves. Let me tell you something. What you are doing today is not for the Nigerian police. It's for yourself. Go further to develop yourself beyond this level. When you leave the court, the international community will be looking for you. Are you watching me? So, and that is for those of us in the uniform organization. Don't wait for anybody to tell you what up and grow. Yeah. If I tell you the next that I've brought, I have a father here. That is him there. That is my papa. He is a controller of prison retired. And our father here. He has been encouraging me. My daughter do this, my daughter do this. I followed his footsteps and I'm getting to where I want to be. I left you people here. I want to give a talk somewhere. Don't you say I'm a changed person? Give me a round of applause. So, you have to make yourself relevant. Yes. A lizard that falls from the tree and look like this, like that, and nobody say, well, no, what did you do? Praise yourself. Rise up and get education. You understand me? Get your professional courses any way you can. If you start himself, myself, doctor, if you start the legal learned brother here, if will tell you the level we have gone. Nobody, did anybody pay for us? Doctor, it is our personal money. And where I went to lecture now, I went there to lecture and never asked for anything. But the moment I left the podium, the naval officer stood up, the army general stood up, the civil defense CG representative stood up. All of them came and shook me. And listen, their meeting. So make yourself money now. So, brother, continue. The sky will be the beginning of your success. And those of you who have been inducted into the what? You will be inducted tomorrow. You are still saving. Tomorrow, I will tell you what you need to hear. So I wish us all a safe journey. The high table, may God bless you. Thank you for coming. Our Father, Baba, who have taken it up to live whatever He's doing, and He's here with us, may God bless you. We wish all of you a safe journey. The resource person, may God bless you. What you are doing is not going to be rewarded by anyone, but by God. And God shall see us and meet us at the point of our name in Jesus' name.
Thank you very much. I also want to say something to the officer. Officer, listen to me. Officer, listen to me. We were once told by one lecturer, he said, if you are looking for money, if you want to look for money with solution to people's problem in your hand. Are we together? Look for money with solution to people's problem in your hand. Don't look for money, look for problem. By the time you begin to solve people's problem, money will come. Now, look at, everybody wants to appear nice. Now, if you go and learn the best tailoring style, by the time you begin to solve people's problem, when anybody wears and moves out and begins to work, who is this tailor that did a very nice work for you? And from there, the cloth speaks for the tailor. Now, you've simply solved people's problem. So the young man, you have done well. As she prayed for you, I'm also adding the prayer. The sky is the starting point, and God will see you more. And the officer too, you commend your efforts. Your presentation was wonderful. Thank you very much. God bless you.
So that was it for today. It's been a very great day, everyone. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll come back here and do it again. See you tomorrow.